Hello, everybody! Welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns, broadcasting the A Link to the Past, All Dungeons Restricted Major Glitches Tournament, Lower Bracket Round 5, Louie vs. caznode. We've got Apathy Duck commentating for us. Say hello, everybody!
Yo, how's it going? Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, we got a good one here today. We have Louie versus caznode. This is a losers bracket match, so the loser will be eliminated from the tournament. The winner will go on to play Andy, who just lost his match versus Dow earlier today. Thanks, Ham. I read that as can't, and then I was like, I don't understand how you responded to me then. But yeah, really good matchup today. Kaz got actually bopped down to the losers bracket relatively early, losing to Doomtap in the second round of winners bracket. He's been on a little bit of a tear down there, winning 3 matches in a row down there, most recently against me. Louie, meanwhile, made it to the third round of winners brackets before losing to Airy. He then beat Thelaine last week to move on to this match. So should be a good one. Kaz's PB is a low 111. He's got a 111.10. It's my personal pick to get the next 110. Meanwhile, Louis' PB is a 110.48. He did get that with 3 blue balls though, so it was a really good run he had. But should be a really good matchup. We all know the variance and everything in this category. We've said it 1,000 times at this point, so anything can happen. So we'll see how this one turns out. Just getting going here. Started in escape, just like normal. Again, this segment pretty straightforward, not much going on. We're not going to see our first glitches till the next segment, and then really then it's not until pod till things start getting a little wild. That's not normally where you see a select buffer. I'm not sure how that happened on Kaz. All right, that's a good one. Got a little bit of buffering here. Hold on, I'm trying to get this sorted on my end. There we go. So I guess everyone just sit back and enjoy escape right here, right now. Oh, Kaz looks like he unfortunately got the slow RNG there. Didn't actually get the spin off on the blue guards. Gonna lose a little bit of time there. Already a little bit behind. Louis is not a guy you want to be digging a hole against early. Like I said, escape not really that big of a deal, but you know, still precious seconds here. Louis is quite the renowned gamer, so giving any sort of advantage early is not how you want to open it up, but there's still plenty of game left. Well, Louis is going to have to go to a backup strat here, going to the one pot, finishing off that that ball and chain guard there. Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect that to happen. That was pretty heads up there from Louis, opting to just kind of take the one pot there. Not really a strat you're ever going to do in any sort of just normal run. If you die to B and C, you're just gonna hit that reset button. So heads up on him to just kind of take the safety there, grab the pot. But Kaz is going to be taking the lead here. As Chad was pointing out, the world record holder, Zelda, is actually out of the tournament already. He had a little bit of a rough go of it the last 2 matches, losing to Dow and Doomtap back-to-back. So really, tournaments, he was certainly the favorite heading into this. Tournaments definitely opened up. At this point, you got to think Blaine is going to be the favorite with, even though he's 3rd place overall, he's only a couple seconds behind Aerie. But he did defeat Aerie, so Aerie's in the losers bracket. So Aerie's going to have to win the win overall is going to have to win 2 in a row. It's pretty difficult for anyone. So Blaine probably has a little bit of advantage just from having that game in hand. If he does get it past Dow, Dow is doing incredibly well in this too. One of the players who took Zelda off. Really, either of them advancing to the winners is probably going to be the favorite at that point. I wonder if Greenham's going to get his dream and he's going to see a double 6-minute escape. Alright, well, Kaz coming in with the 54 despite some of those early issues. Definitely finished it off very strong there. We'll be taking one final bop on the way out. So yeah, I mean, usually we say escape doesn't matter. Generally, the variance in escape is really only, like worst case scenario is just plus 4 or 5 seconds. Louis did kind of have the ultimate disaster though. He is losing a solid 20 seconds here. So escape is actually mattering a little bit today, but still plenty of game left, obviously. Alright, Kaz showing off our first glitch here. He's going to be going for the citrus clip here. Saves save up to 8 seconds. Have done very well. Kaz has a very nice one. He's going to have a very good entry time here. Yeah, coming in with a low 110 without, I don't think he got the red frames. So it was very, very good citrus. Louis is going to be tempted doing it again too. It does save time. The downside to it is it's pretty tricky. If you fail any of these buffers, you're going to get kicked out and have to do it again. You can see Louis is just going to finish it off with select buffer, opting to throw away some of the potential time save just to make it a little bit safer. Once you get kicked out at the very end, it's pretty... it takes a long time to reset it up, so it's good safety strat there, especially in a race setting. So the rest of this dungeon gonna be straightforward. Pretty much like you would see in most categories. The only thing is we're gonna be booming on this popos. We don't need any money from drops in this category. We only need to spend 510 rupees, and we're gonna pick up 300 before having to spend any of that, or 600 before having to spend any of that. So it's all just baked into the route. It's one of the nice things about this category is you don't have to worry about drops or tree pulls or anything like that. We just pick up 2 chests and we're pretty much done with cash for the rest of the game. Kaz having a pretty good back half to his Eastern, going into his boss fight. Doing a very nice version of the Pincus Armos. Saves just a little bit of time there. Definitely the easiest strat to get pretty low Armos times. Not the complete optimal strat, but it's a really good balance between ease of doing the strat and speed. See Louis doing the same summer version of it, used a little sword clink there to set up in a specific spot, but overall pretty much the same strat. Alright, so we are going to be talking to Sasha here. We're getting our boots. We're going to be going to the back here, getting the bombs. These bombs are going to be used for these bomb clips coming up. So we are going to be going to pod next. This is kind of what breaks up in this entire category. This segment is really, as I've said before, kind of separates the men from the boys here. Obviously, both of these runners are very good at this segment, but no matter how good you are at this segment, things can definitely go wrong. So we're going to hope that both of these guys have a clean segment. Get through all the tricky things, including the boss, Helma, can just be a complete run-ender. Can just kind of end these races before they even get off the ground a lot of times. Kaz going for the kind of determined, called the risky dash there. Just dashing straight up. And you can kind of see why it's risky. Not only do you get bopped there and lose a bunch of time, now you got to deal with this guard. And he just YOLOs in there. Oh my god. Well... he did lose a bunch of time there, so hopefully Louis will be coming back up. Louis also doing the risky dash. No one reading the guide. Yeah, we really need the full health for this segment because of the boss. We want to be at 5 hearts, and every heart we are down is going to take time to pick up more hearts, so we want to be as healthy as possible. Not to mention there is just some... not so much anymore. It really used to be that you really needed the full hearts just to get into pod, because there's a lot of RNG. Now typically you're fine, but still it's fast. It's just straight up faster to get it later, and you don't really need it for Easter. Alright, so Kaz getting through his Kiki Yeet cleanly. I've tested that movement that Kaz did, where he moves diagonal first and then jumps down, and I definitely can't get it faster than dashing down first. The movement that Louis did, I believe that is the optimal way. You do have to cut it off at the end. Kaz did; he was able to go straight into the hop, but you can just quick hop it. So. Kaz hitting the switch, you just generally want to avoid that. Just a little sloppy movement there is going to waste a good bit of time. That switch takes a good bit of time to flip. Louis definitely catching up in this segment after his escape fiasco. Still behind by a good, looks like 10 or 15 seconds here, but he's definitely clawed back at least 5 already. Kaz getting his big key and small key down here. Is going to be doing the next potential trouble spot in this split, the hammer jump. Most runners of these guys' caliber don't have any problems with it. Pretty high success rate, definitely in the 90+ success rate. But if it does go poorly in this category because we have so few health, it's really hard to recover from if you do miss it, especially if you get hit by your bomb. If you just kind of like whiff it and can read it, you can sort of recover. Kaz also not going for the heart. That heart actually would save nearly a second from picking up, assuming he is going to go to full health. You can get it without losing any time by just running up and coming down. It does make it a little tighter to get set up for the hammer jump, but like, you know, these guys play NMG where we do the double bomb strat. It's really no more difficult than that. It is a little bit tricky to like maybe read. That heart came out a little bit late, so if you don't realize it's going to drop, sometimes you just don't really have time to realize it and go up. But not too big of a deal, but it is free time if the helmet does drop it. Guy's having a pretty good mimics room. So it hits the statue at a 31 on the segment timer. That's a decent pod, a little bit slower than he would probably like it. Louis is going to be coming in with a 19. That is incredibly good. So yeah, Louis making up about 12 seconds in this segment already. You can see really just the difference of this cutscene right here. Kaz opting to do the OK boomer strat, avoiding the pretty. I mean, it's a frame roll. It's not technically RNG, but to a human, it's effectively RNG on the swag boom. Louis doing the same. Unfortunately, still misses the boom. So they each have a little trouble there. Kaz with the double menu, Louis just straight up missing the boom. Kaz had a good turtle party. Looks like Louis set up for a good one as well. And so Louis definitely caught up a good bit in this dungeon. Still have Helma to get through. Not just the potential of dying here, there's a lot of RNG in Helma. Louis can make up even more time here if Kaz struggles a little bit or gets bad patterns, but it's not getting a bad pattern. He's getting the double down, the Neil Breen, going straight into the hammers on the second phase. Fortunately, he gets a little bit of an awkward fireball pattern. It's going to slow down there, but does finish it off. Louis, meanwhile, not getting the Neil Breen, getting the exact opposite. But Helma, yeah, when Helma comes down like that and does a tail whip, he is just, it's such a good feeling. You can just go to town on that guy. So both were pretty good Helma fights. Probably, I don't think the timing really changed. Overall, they both struggled just a little bit. Louis didn't really struggle so much; just had the bad RNG, and so did Kaz. Had good early RNG, and then kind of got trapped in the corner there. Not much he could have done. Could have maybe played it hyper aggressive, but of course, being a tournament race, better just to kind of wait it out and then take that last hammer. So after all that, Kaz finishing on the 18-19 pod. That is a very good. That's still a very good pod time. A 1x pod is definitely what you want. especially if you're like looking for like a 110 type run. We'll be finishing with a 1832. Still pretty good. Obviously, most of the, I mean, honestly, that's excellent considering all of his time loss was an escape, which is not where you would expect it to be. This would be, geez, if he had anything like resembling a good escape, this would be an OX pod. So Louis playing extremely well. Just had that one fiasco early. But I can attest a 1832 pod is still good enough for a 110. So both these runners can still come in with an incredibly good time, overall time here. Yeah, Louis showing the downside to this boom dash strat. If you hit the switch more, you just keep flipping the switch. Flipping that switch is really the only way to really lose time in this segment, as long as you get out of the room as soon as possible here at the end. So it looks like Kaz is ahead by a good 7 or 8 tiles here. Unfortunately gets hit by a Moldorm. Should be okay. You can kind of take... If you take only one hit overall in Hera, it's not too bad. Really, it's when you take that second hit, then you start getting a little nervous. I'll be making some good friends with those Stalfofi? Skeletons. Guy's having a pretty friendly petting zoo. Did he? Oh, yeah, it didn't. Yeah, someone who does the spin strat a lot, that can happen. If you get lag there, it really throws off your sense of timing. It's probably the only real downside to that strat, to be honest. And that could happen. You can see he kind of recognized it late and tried to do a /buffer up to save it at the very end, just not able to getting it. Unfortunately, that's a good like 40-second time loss, if not more. So Louis is, after his early struggles, now has a pretty comfortable lead coming out of Hera. I still got to get through his Moldorm fight. With 3 hearts and the hammer, you're probably not going to die, but you always risk getting knocked off, and that's a good. Ooh. Okay, that might have been a commentator's curse. This is just... Okay, Kaz now takes a pretty comfortable lead. Well, actually, no, not really. Louis is still in the lead here. That middle hold is pretty time consuming, but Louis is able to come back up. He is on 1 heart though, so now the risk of dying is definitely real. I'm very sorry, Louis. I assume you're listening to commentary. I apologize profusely. Oh, Louis, please. All right, yeah, Louis. You can see Louis taking it just a little bit safe there. Kind of had an opportunity to hit Moldorm, but always had the risk turn around. Moldorm also dodging Kaz a little bit. Okay, so through all of that, through both of these players, Louis did catch up and take the lead, but pretty much the differential on this race just got flip-flopped a little bit. Louis is going to be ahead about 12 seconds before he was losing by about 12 seconds. So you can see really just how punishing that falling on. I mean, they both fell 2 floors down, but Kaz just fell the worst 2 floors down, unfortunately. All right, so after all that, after Pod and Hera, we enter 2 splits that tend to be a little bit more consistent for runners of this skill level. Shouldn't have too many issues here. Both had a little bit of issue pulling the gate though. You know, I'm just gonna shut my mouth. I'm just gonna shut my mouth. We're just gonna watch the rest of this together in silence. Just. Alright, Louis heading into his hellway. Gets the good RNG at the bottom. Unfortunately, the bad RNG at the top, even though he did get the good pixel there. Oh, and then some really unfortunate RNG at the top there. Meanwhile, I'm not sure why Kaz can't. I didn't see that. He should be able to beat that anti-fury, unless I didn't see how the opening started. This is very classic AD though, where it's just a bunch of little small things over the course of the run. There's just a lot of hard tricks and things to do in this run that sometimes the game just decides to be mean to you. I'm surprised we haven't had more matches like this where kind of both runners are getting it with both barrels. So both having some struggles, but you know, after all that, are incredibly close to each other. So race is staying close. I'm sure this is the way they want it. Not you know, not just one of those early mistakes, just kind of dictating the entire match. So a little bit of nice back and forth here overall. Is getting bullied a little bit in prison there, but he's got pretty good health here. Just taking one hit like that, not too worrisome. They're both on 4 hearts. 3 is always kind of what you want to be at heading into blind. That way, if you can have one little mistake and maybe get bopped by blind, and you'll still be fine. Yeah, so Kaz able to close the gap up here in Thieves Town. Louis just having some little struggles, mostly in Hellway, some other small thing. But you know, like Thieves Town is not especially for a guy like Louis, not a segment you really lose 10 seconds on all that much. But when Thieves Town decides to be mean to you, it can just be mean to you, and this kind of stuff can happen. So if both of these guys can have good blind fights, then we should be pretty close to tied up here. Kaz having a little trouble with that last slash, but able to finish off. You see what I say there? Just a little mistake there from Kaz. You know, not getting that last hit in, but it did have plenty of health. Just got hit by a fireball, and instead of him losing the run by dying because he had plenty of health, just losing like a second there. So very well done by both runners. No truck cutscenes, crystal cutscenes for us today. So we are heading into Skullwoods. Skullwoods, kind of like 3 like tricky points in this segment. We have the frog door, which isn't really that tricky, but there is a potential for a soft or hard lock there. Hopefully both of them will avoid that, and then it's really mummy, the mummy statue, and moth that are really the bulk of this segment of where things can go wrong. Both of them going for the frog door. This, again, coming out, they can have a potential for a hard or soft lock here. Both of them know what they're doing. They'll avoiding the hard lock, just as long as you hold select, you're fine. But if you do hit the A button on the wrong frame, it will end up being a soft lock for them. So Louis getting through okay, and Kaz does as well. As long as Link doesn't, like, Link will do this big teleport, and that's what causes the problem. So they're both fine. That is the optimal strat there as of right now. All right, Kaz is one of the few remaining runners to not do the blanksmiths that you see Louis doing here. At the beginning of the tournament, I think Andy did it as well, and I believe, I want to say Asder was doing it. So I believe at this point, I mean, I'm pretty sure Andy is switched. And I think, so Kaz is the last remaining participant in this tourney to not do it. It's not a big deal, it's just, the version that Louis is doing is easier to do optimally, but theoretically they should be tied overall. I've been playing too much Hundo, and I got worried that Kaz left the purple chest behind. Kaz does get the fence dash, Louis missed it. So it does look like Kaz is slightly behind here, but he's actually a mile ahead. You can see there the bonk on that rock, correcting everything that was wrong with the universe. These guys are frame for frame heading into Skull Woods. Alright, as I mentioned before, one of the two or three really major sticking points in this room. Both having pretty good mummy statues. Kaz just having to do defensive slash there. And this is close enough that gives Louis the lead, that one slash. Pretty much, we've had a lot of matches this last week that have been this close. The Dow Andy match was incredibly close early today until unfortunately Andy hardlocked. I know me and Kaz were frame for frame for a large portion of our race last week until some Turtle Rock shenanigans happened for both of us. It's just been a lot of good matches recently. Kaz showing off some more old boy strats, doing the side proboscis. Oh, and unfortunately, both picking up that right pot. It's just, you hate to see it. Ooh. Oh, okay. Louis is doing so what Louis did was a slightly modified version of what Kaz did. It's like the waffle version of that. It doesn't pick up the magic, so Kaz has a little bit of time banked here in the refill, which is honestly the difference right now. But what Louis did is just slightly safer while still being very fast in that room. I think Louis got the double and Kaz didn't. Going back and forth. Louis with a little bit of a better fight here. Unfortunately, Moff sticking on the north for Kaz. So Louis taking a slight lead here. But Kaz does have those 16 frames in the bank. I really wanted them to have the same exact Moff fight, so Louis or Kaz could take the lead based on refill frames. That would bring me so much joy in this world. Once again, the trucks staying at home, staying in the car hole. All right, so we are going to save and quit here. Like I said, those two segments pretty straightforward. Louis did have a little trouble in his Thieves Town segment, mostly from RNG though, not really his fault. Here's where it's really going to open up. This segment, Desert doesn't necessarily kill your run, but it does kill your pace. So something like here, we can definitely see some one of these two guys open up a little bit of a lead. Just from RNG, you can see, yeah, Kaz getting bopped by everyone's favorite squirrel, Katy Perry, right there. Still got more dead rocks to contend with, including dealing with Katy Perry again. Yeah, she being in Louis' way right there. Did a very good job of dealing with it. I haven't actually seen that menu buffer right there. That's a pretty good place for it. I tend to do it right here on this dash, where I think, yeah, Kaz wouldn't do it. But it's not too helpful there, so using it to avoid one of the dead rocks, that's a pretty good strategy. Kaz opting for that north rock strat can go pretty poorly, like we saw right there. And then Zora's Domain is just this typical nightmare, like it is in every category. Just a bunch of really hard dashes. You can see what happened to Kaz there, just jumping in again, jumping in a third time. Each of those is like a second plus, so yeah, like you can see, these guys are effectively tied coming out of Skull Woods. Louis got a good 10-second lead now. Just that this first half of Desert, just a little bit of a nightmare. Pretty much once we get into Desert, besides maybe losing 6 seconds on Lambo from some bad RNG, it's pretty straightforward. But we do have this bomb clip coming up, and then Fluteless Mire. Both things can go pretty wrong as well, so Kaz can catch right back up. So he's lining up for this bomb clip, gets it, just dashes right off. You can opt to quick hop that, but if it goes, if you hit the left before A, you will pop out, so it's a little risky. Kaz, proud member of the Protestant Church of Boyne, does the spin clip a little bit slower there. Some people, I guess it's theoretically safer, but everything's just a nightmare. So just do the fastest thing. God, I hate that dash. Everyone stop dashing there, please. I implore you. I don't know what it is about that screen that makes people like think it's shorter. That was an interesting strat by Kaz there, dashing into the sand line and then re-dashing. I haven't actually timed that. I mean, you do what Louis did. He went a little bit further just to avoid it, but there is a lot of extra walking while in there. What Kaz did may actually be optimal. I'd have to look at that. Alright, so Louis, let's see what Louis' back of Desert entry time is gonna be here. Well, okay, yeah, so he was going for the Desert 2 spin speed. Generally what we do is we come off the stairs. Let's see if Kaz will do it here. Yeah, and use this pause buffer to make sure we don't run off. Louis had a little bit of trouble there, went back up on the stairs. At that point, it's pretty risky to do, and it's a lot safer just to go around to the left. So just, again, we saw it early with the ball and chain play. Louis making a little mistake and just kind of correcting it and making sure he doesn't lose just a mountain of time from jumping off there. Louis getting a little bit bullied back in the back of Desert here. So Kaz is surprisingly catching up here in the back of Desert. Like I said, the Desert itself generally isn't too bad. You can lose a little time here, but it's generally not too bad. Louis just kind of having a little bit of a bad go of it. And we're within the cutscene of each other right now. Alright, Louis getting the one cycle. Oh, unfortunately, that first worm coming right at Kaz. He's gonna have to go for the 2 cycle here. Missing the last one too. If you just missed the first one, it's not too bad. Missing that last worm, because that worm then takes the longest to respawn. It takes even a little bit longer. Yeah, so Louis is still going to be with about a 12-second lead here. His sort of time was a 38.50. Looks like Kaz is going to be coming in with like a 39 flat. No, 38.59. So a 9-second differential here. That's still incredibly close, obviously. Like I said before, Desert's kind of the pace killer. Mire can absolutely be a run killer. You can lose just gobs and gobs of time here. It's incredibly difficult dungeon. Where most other splits have maybe 1 or 2 things that can go wrong. This thing's got just a bunch. You got to do Mire 2 twice, which can be pretty difficult. We've got the bomb jump that I think both of these guys are going to be going for. They can opt out of that one potentially. And then we got the Hera to Swamp Clip, which is also incredibly different, and Spooky as well. The flute with Spooky can be pretty tricky and can fail pretty easily. Ooh, Kaz, unfortunately, having a little trouble with that Popo. Like I say, Mire 2 can just go south pretty quickly. So, I mean, not too big of a deal. It is going to be a little bit of a time loss. If you're in a PB attempt, that'd feel pretty bad. But even just losing that little bit of seconds in this race, how close it isn't the best feeling either. All right, Louis doing that dash across is basically the signal that you're going to be going for the bomb jump. If you do the bomb jump, it's faster to get that key on the second go around. Let's see what Kaz opts to do. Yeah, he's also dashing through. I've seen a couple people dash through and then just get the key on the second pass through. I guess it's a little bit of preference. That's really weird that Kaz. So you got generally if you get that RNG on the slug, you can get a free farm there. I guess he just kind of held his sword out and got a poke on it, didn't actually kill it. That's a little bit unfortunate. But his bomb count is actually pretty good, so it's not that big of a deal. We're going to be using like a good 3 bombs here, though. So, all right. So Louis is going to be setting up for this bomb jump here. We got the setup on 102 pixels. Have to do a spin speed before this bomb hits us, and then do these select buffers to get in the right pixel to get through here. Louis having a pretty nice one. Look like about 3 select buffers. The amount of select buffers you do is basically the determining factor in how fast this room is. Oh, I think. Oh, no. Okay, it looked like Kaz popped out after that first one. Yeah, Kaz getting through there. He did about maybe 5 or 6 select buffers. They're pretty quick, though. So both almost certainly at least saving time on that. Louis saving time in the race overall with having a little bit of a faster one. And we're doing this bomb clip. We're going to be heading into Hera. We're actually in Hera right now despite the palette. You can see the palette change here. And then we're going to be doing a similar bomb clip, except this is into a left wall, so we actually have to buffer up. Oh, Louis is going to be going for the sword buffer, excuse me. Doing a very good job of it, too. Again, obviously use some select buffers, as he has been through his entire run for some of those one-frame movements. Just makes it a little bit more consistent. Main benefit there is he's going to save his beams, as well as it is technically faster in the room if he does it very well. I'm not sure if he quite did it fast enough to save time in the room, but he is preserving his beams. That'll make his Mire 2 much easier. He can do it just like he would normally. Kaz is either going to have to do a slower version of it, or just kind of hope for a 50-50 farm on the first wizard with a fire rod shot. But even with that farm, the rest of the room becomes a lot trickier as well, and a little bit more prone to RNG. So yeah, you can see Louis can just do this room like you would normally, gets the fast strat. And Kaz is going to have to do something a little bit different. He can either stay on the fire rod, do that strat, but just with the fire rod, or he can do a fire rod up shot up here to try for a farm. Does opt for this farm, doesn't get the heart though, so it just has to finish it off. Yeah, and then it's really that first Popo that can be a little bit of a pain. Is able to pick up a heart there and get that nice beam shot in to finish up the room. So really, through no fault fault of Kaz's. Lost a good like second and a half in that room over Louis. So it looks like both our runners managed to avoid pretty much any of the major disasters. Actually, I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up right now. Ain't gonna say it. All right, so yeah, this block in here is setting up this spooky. We can't do the normal flute spooky that we would in NMG because we do not have the flute. So we'd have a different setup here. The setup doesn't work for the first switch, but we don't need to hit it because we never hit it in the dungeon to begin with. And then these slashes just for timing. We hit this anti-fairy into a dash, and it still flips the switches. The other downside is we can't hit this third one either, so we just have to kind of do that one normally. But really the big time save in Spooky is, preventing from having to put a bomb down, go through the extra rooms. So we get the bulk of the time save anyways by doing this strat. Unfortunately, Kaz misses the 2 buttons on the same frame. So nice recovery though, only lost a second or 2 there. Oh, looks like Louis just misread the pattern. It's gonna have a 1 cycle video here, but it's gonna be able to clean it up. Now, Kaz getting some really nice RNG there, just getting all of the eyeballs with just spins. So nicely done by him. It's basically just RNG whether he gets that pattern or not, but it's always a nice feeling to get it. Okay, now I can say it. Both of these runners managed to avoid any of the major setbacks in this dungeon. Louis with a really nice mire overall, though. He might be pulling a gold here, actually. I think he might be pulling a fatty gold here, actually. Yeah, this is gonna be like a 4-second gold. We got a 709 mire. Previous gold was a 713. So very well done by Louis. So yeah, Kaz having managed to avoid kind of like any of the major pitfalls in that. Little struggles on Spooky, but he got a nice backup, and then just not able to do the fast mire 2 the second time through some bad RNG, and then the first time just having a little bit of problems with it. So did lose a little bit of time to Louis overall. He was about 9 seconds before heading in. Now he is closer to, it looks like 20 seconds flat. So he did lose about 11 seconds to Louis on that. Kaz opting for a safe mire strat there. Exit. Don't have to worry about beating the Zora Fireball. That can cause some issues. So Swamp, not a very scary dungeon. This split is basically going to be the diver down trick that came in pretty much. I think it was like right before bracket stage that it came in, and then the Argus 0 cycle at the end. Although Kaz is pretty much, I think, is the last remaining participant in the tournament who doesn't even go for it. He just opts for a very consistent 1 cycle. So Louis can bank another 7 seconds on Kaz if he is able to pull off the 0 cycle. But if the 0 cycle goes poorly, especially if it goes poorly early, it can kind of spiral out of control, and you can even get like a 2 cycle. But who would ever do that in a tournament race versus Kaz? Yeah, so Louis getting his diver down just on the first try. Going to be heading into his Argus fight here. Getting just a little extra arrows here. Ooh, Kaz moved 2 frames down there. I don't think he didn't notice it. Okay, but he does recover pretty well. You can check there just by looking at the shield versus in relationship to the block. So I could tell he went down 2 frames. Kaz didn't quite notice and just kind of went for it instead of just trying to fix it right away. Louis going into his 0 cycle, gets the hook dash. Getting, wow, it was very, very close, able to get it. So yeah, that's going to be about a good 7 seconds in the bank versus Kaz. Kaz, you're going to see, just going to opt for... He's just going to go up, slash the puffs, move to right and finish it off. Very consistent 1 cycle that he's going to get. Pretty much, this fight is very difficult with the strat Louis did. Always nerve-wracking whether you're going to get it or not. So Kaz never has to worry about that. Just gets to do this, gets that last puff before that cycle ends. Yeah, for a runner of Kaz's skill level to still be doing that strat, he's just going to do that with pretty much 100% consistency. So some benefits for going that, and like it turns from a very stressful fight into a very unstressful fight for him. So he never gets that 7-second time loss, but he never really has to worry about it just going completely off the rails either. So a nice comfy fight for Kaz on his side. So yeah, Louis' 20-second lead is going to be closer to 30 seconds now. Ice Palace, there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong here. Not only we got this mirror wrap right at the beginning here. Hopefully we'll avoid the hard luck. We did have one earlier today, unfortunately. Louis is able to avoid it. But Ice Palace is it's got pretty much like the same amount of stuff that we had to do in Meyer, but it's very rapid fire. Like Meyer, you'll have like just a couple like straightforward rooms, but this is just room after room after room where stuff happens in very rapid fire succession. With this, the mirror wrap into the bomb clip, into bomb on the floor, into icebreaker. So Louis doing those first few pretty good. Let's see how his icebreaker is. Looks like oh no, he did not get it. Yeah. So unfortunately, like if you fail to, especially if you already placed the block, it can really slow you down. You can see Kaz is gonna catch up a good bit here just from that. So if Kaz can get a first try here, really gonna close this gap up. Gonna at least make back up the time from not going for the 0 cycle if he can get a first try here. Oh. So it looks like, yeah, he does get it effectively second try, but his second try was much faster. So not quite catching up as much as he could have, but still a little time in the bank there. TR, we do have a potential soft lock. Besides that, it's not too difficult of a split. You can always die in Trinex or something like that. But Louis has got a pretty good gap here, and we're past a lot of like it's pretty easy to like blow 30 seconds on like icebreaker or something like that. We're past a lot of like the 30-second mistakes. So Kaz is going to need to probably need Louis to make a handful of mistakes or play a little sloppy in the backhand here. Louis pointed out that he had a little crisis moment there when he messed up. Fortunately, able to recover without too much issues. But yeah, Kaz needs to play very, very well down the stretch. He did get a gold Ganon Tower last week against me, so he definitely can have a strong finish. T-Rock and Ganon Tower, a lot of stuff can happen. We just kind of got to stay within shouting range here, and then we have the RNG gauntlet at the end there that can, as long as Kaz can sort of stay within like maybe like 20 to 30 second range. Not too difficult for RNG to swing that. So just got to play well here on out. Keep right on Louis' heels. Louis is in a pretty good spot right now. So yeah, Louis finishing ice 53-14, Kaz finishing at 53-33. So that's a 19-second difference. So Kaz really only catching up about a second in that split, not nearly as much as he would have liked, especially with Louis struggling a little bit with it. Did open the door for a little bit of a catch up. Kaz not able to capitalize. Wow, very nice hair clip from Louis. That was incredibly fast. All right, so Louis going in his turtle rock climb here. This is one of the places you can lose a minute just from hitting a wrong button. If you hit up there too early, you're gonna snap above the seam or below the seam, and you get soft locked. Louis managed to avoid that, getting the two buttons on the same frame, and it's gonna be going right into the back of turtle rock right here. Oh, I didn't see Louis place the bomb, and I thought something was wrong. Does get there, gets his laser skip cleanly, gets out without any sort of hassle. Oh, I didn't even. Did he just hop a little low and he had to walk up? Oh, he had to save and quit. Oh, I completely missed it. That's unfortunate. Yeah, unfortunately, that's gonna be, you know, that 20-second gap was already pretty decent for Louis. Louis probably a little bit of a stronger player in the end here, so it was definitely a comfortable lead for Louis. Just definitely kind of tightened his grip on this match. Now, both players playing, you know, they're both a little over a minute on their PBs right here. So both players, you know, kind of have like the same amount of kind of mistakes. Just Louis, you know, PB is a good almost a minute faster than Kaz's. So that's kind of the difference that we see so far here. All right, Louis going for this fast peg puzzle strat, just baits the Helma. And Louis is going to be heading into his Trinex fights. Going to be heading in a full health too. Was able to get the hard drop and the fairy drop, so not much of a risk of dying here. Looks like he gets past. Yeah, gets those shots in. The only other real problem is running out of magic there. Very nice fight by Louis. I think he did the poke dash too, right? I didn't get viscerally mad from his fight, so he must have done it. Ooh. Kaz having a little bit of a TGH here. Is able to get it out of it fast though. Just place that first block a little too high, so it missed the switch. Louis not going for the poke dash, breaking my heart. Ooh, it was could have sworn Kaz had enough slashes into that head. It was a little bit weird. So I think Kaz ended up getting a 2 cycle there. Is able to clean it up. Yeah, so Louis is gonna have a nice. He's ahead by more than a cutscene at this point. So this is a pretty comfortable lead. He really just has to play just decently through Ganon's Tower at this point, and then just not get the worst RNG possible. Basically, as long as Anders doesn't get a free dinner, Louis should be able to take this match at this point, barring any major catastrophes on his side. How am I bowling hoping that Louis doesn't get 15 blue balls? How is that a bully? Imagine wanting Louis to lose this match just so you can get a free meal. That's bullying. Kaz opting to take the hearts, despite being behind at this point. It could be a decent strategic decision. Kaz kind of needs Louis to have somewhat of a disaster at this point. So Kaz really just needs to make sure he gets through disasterless. That was that sideways clip Kaz did. I haven't seen that. I did not say his DMs were closed. When did I say that? Anders, I'll send you a nice DM later. Alright, anyways, back to the game. Louis in his Ice Armor fight cleans it up nicely. Not going to get any arc variable wonkiness later. Not bullying Anders. Trust me, when I bully Anders, you're going to know about it. Alright, Louis doing, the heart neutral strat there. Generally the strat you'll see when you don't take the old man heal. That's why the old man heal doesn't save quite as much time in this split as it does in other splits, because you tend to slow down a little bit because of it. Still generally the fastest thing to do, even with using that strat. But it's only about a 3-second time save instead of like the full, I think it's like 5 or 6, if you don't have to change your strats. Kaz also having a good Ice Armors fight. Ooh. Louis trying to go for the up slash in G2 here. Unfortunately, gets bonked by that Stalfos. Yeah, you can see Kaz there going for the normal NMG strat, leveraging the full hearts he has. And even with that, he still comes out with more hearts overall than if he just skipped the refill whatsoever. He's going to be heading into his land mode 2 now. Same RNG as before. Also have to deal with his shooter. It's not too hard to bait, just something else you have to worry about. Ooh, Louis not only missing, still using an extra fire rod shot, but he's able just to use a spin there to finish it off. Only having 4 hearts heading upstairs. He does have the key already, though. Doesn't have to worry about the Helma key, which is generally you have to take a heart to get. At least heart to get, in which it's faster than any other key. Kaz also having a little trouble in G2. I think cleaned it up a little bit faster overall, though. Ooh, just missing that slash in G3. Getting some pretty rude RNG there. Does anyone know how to avoid that BMO shot on that RNG? I always get nailed by that thing. Yeah, Louis definitely struggling just a little bit here in Gaines Tower. Maybe leaving the door open just a little too wide here. Kind of letting Kaz creep back into the realm of feasible RNG. Ooh, Louis killing the wrong Helma, only killing the one of them. Oh, I guess he did need that key. I'm dumb. I'm a dummy. I said he didn't need it before. Yeah, generally we don't. There, you'll see NMG get that key in that chest there. That's because getting that chest when picking up the magic is actually relatively efficient. We don't need the magic here though, so it's better just to get one of the keys. Oh, I think Louis poked Moldorm. Yeah, having a little bit of issues. Definitely opening the door for Kaz to get back in this thing. Did avoid getting the Moldorm fall, which would have definitely put Kaz right back in contention. So Kaz also killing the wrong Helma. That's fun. You don't see that too often, and both our runners did it. I think the Helmas are just a little bit in a weird spot, so they only usually you end up slashing and killing both of them. So it's weird that happened to both of them. All right, Louis opening up for his Aga fight. Kaz on his Moldorm fight. Louis got looks like a 2 on that first one. Another 2. So hopefully can clean up a 3 cycle here. No. Oh, wow. Completely whiffed on that one. Should be able to get it here to spin. This is a guaranteed ball. Right, yeah, so finishes up nicely. So does get a 4 cycle. Leaves, again, leaving the door open for Kaz to climb back in. The Kaz doesn't really need a 2 cycle, just even a 3 cycle will sort of put him back into shouting distance here. And then with the Aga and Ganon's fights at the end, both pretty much just RNG players of this caliber. Their Ganon fights are pretty straightforward. It's just going to be the Warp RNG. So interesting choice to stand for Kaz. I would stand below that bottom left one. So yeah, Kaz. Yeah, I'm going to get a 4 cycle here as well, it looks like. Louis into his Aga Tower is going to be opting to use the Fire Rod strats here. There's a couple different methods to go through here. Fire Rod is technically the optimal one, although it's by a very slim margin. The main benefits is it makes the red spear room very consistent and straightforward, and then we do save a menu, but we see that time in the Ganon fight, not necessarily in this split. The downside to it is it makes Circle of Pots a nightmare. The other strats that you can potentially use make Circle Pots pretty easy, but it makes the Red Spears guards not really a nightmare, but just an inconsistent mess more than anything. So Kaz not going to the Fire Rod. We will be seeing one of the other strats, probably the hook shot. Greenham is the only one I've seen really use the Boomerang. Boomerang's actually a little bit faster than a hook shot, but you don't get the hook shot for Ganon. So you do have to learn hookless Ganon with it still. There, we can see the Red Spears room with Fire Rod there. You can see how straightforward that was. Kaz is pretty much just going to have to run around the room, slashing them randomly. There's not really a good, consistent... there's a lot of RNG in that room. So you pretty much just have to... It turns into just do it casually as fast as possible type of room. That's a interesting strat for the hook shot. That might actually be the better way of doing it. So we can see, yeah, I just have to spin here, and then he just has to kind of clean up this other guard as best he can. That's actually very good Red Spears room from using this hook shot strat. And then basically what you do this, you just do this room like it's NMG, but you just have to time that hook shot to snag the key. So we are into the RNG portion. Louis does take the win in the non-RNG category. However, we are not. This is not the non-RNG All Dungeons tournament. This is the All Dungeons tournament. Do have to get through this RNG. I haven't seen how many Louis has gotten so far. Oh, he's got at least one. So each blue ball is 6 seconds. Let's see what the total time. 107.55 versus 108.50. So it is a minute. A minute is pretty. Even 7 blue balls is only like 55 seconds. So definitely, yeah, you can see Louis is already going to be on top of his pyramid here, while Kaz is still in it. Unless Louis just gets the an absolute ridiculous amount of warps. Louis should be able to close this one out. I think Kaz has not gotten any yet, so he is getting set up for... Oh, there's one. Might be cursing him. The old duck curse coming in. Oh, there it is. Okay, well that's at least 2. Yeah, so he did get 0 in the first phase. Unfortunately, did get 2. So the same RNG for both runners. Yeah, so Kaz is either going to need just Louis to get literally every single warp possible, or for Louis to have quite the disaster. Disaster on Ganon is fairly unlikely on all dungeons. We do get this free health refill. Makes it pretty cozy. A lot of times in NMG, you can't take any hits whatsoever. Here, we could run and we can just give Ganon a hug and we'll still be fine. So generally, you don't see runners die on him. Really, the only... the main disaster... I mean, Louis does have to get through the Torch Glitch. That is the most probable disaster. I think Kaz is just within range. That if Louis does miss Torch Glitch, this could still be up for grabs. Louis is getting a lot of warps, though, too. So... Alright, so moving into... He's setting up for the 1 spin here. Let's see if he goes for the double. Decides to opt out of it. Probably a good idea, considering his lead. Not in PB range. Already passed his PB already. Does get it. So just needs to pretty much avoid falling off here. And Louis will take the win. Oh, Kaz getting the... It looks like the 1+2 Ganon. And there we go. Final blow on the pig. Louis, barring any sort of finger slips here, is going to be taking this one. Going to be finishing it for a very nice time. I think he's just going to miss the 111. Yeah, just barely going to miss the 111. Finishing win with a 112.03 official SRL time. Only going or 12.02 on his splits. So GG's to Louis. Louis remaining the international man of mystery. Will only be interviewing in the chat, I assume. So I know he's been listening in. So Louis, if you wanna say any thoughts in chat, feel free to go right ahead. Hopefully Kaz will be joining us in for an interview soon as well. Louis could not be a man. Sure, I've never actually. I guess I've never actually asked. Yeah, the GT wasn't the best I've seen out of Louis. But yeah, you got 2. Oh, you did get a golden swamp too. I didn't even notice that. It says your golds are pink, not gold, which confuses me. Honestly, you were losing time in every split on your split, so I just thought pink meant saving time. I didn't realize it meant gold. Yeah, Kaz finishing with a 112.52. Very good time from him too. If just finishing these tournament matches, I mean, really up until this round, 112 would probably take the match. But we've gotten to the best of the best at this point. So 112, unfortunately, not taking down for Kaz. We are joined by Kaz right now. GG's to you, Kaz. Nice run.
Good game.
So I mean, kind of like last week. This was frame for frame for quite some time. You had not too much troubles in Desert. Desert just kind of gave you some RNG, and then your Mire was pretty good. You avoided like all the disasters, just a little slop, and then Louis just decided to gold it, and that kind of put up a little bit of time, and then the zero cycle, which you opt not to go for, and then the save and quit was pretty much what ended up determining this match. But very nice run overall. Getting a 112 in a tournament match, always what you want to see. So it was a very good race, very close through most of it. So I guess if you just have any general thoughts, feel free.
Yeah, it was an alright run. The only mistake I'm sort of upset about was falling in Hera bomb jump, because that just happened because the Kadongo flamed and it lagged at the worst possible time, and I just couldn't correct in time.
Yeah, I do the same strat, and I recognized it immediately. I was like, oh, he got it cut off, and he's a pixel low, and it looked like it took you a second to recognize it. It's always hard to tell, because when you do that strat, you don't even bother looking at cues, right? You're just like, well, I did it, so I'm fine. But I was like, oh, he's definitely low, and then you try to slash at the last second, but like I almost kind of forgot about that, because you guys both had adventures in the first half. Louis with his ball and chain, and then you guys both had differing disasters in Hera, and then pretty much Hera to Swamp or Skull Woods, you actually caught up, and you guys were frame for frame. A little bit in Skull. You were on the same frame heading into Skull Woods, so this was a very close race overall. Just the back half of AD, we all know what a nightmare it can be, and Louis was just able to have a little bit of a cleaner one to take the match.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm glad that that even though we both had disasters, that it kind of evened out for a little bit, so it was at least an entertaining race.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're upset about the Hera thing. That's a good 50 seconds there, but Louis had the kind of the same, a differing set of disasters early on. So if you're gonna credit yourself with the Hera, I think we got to credit Louis some stuff too. So but yeah, really good race overall. I do have to please explain how you select buffered in Escape. That was
I can't even explain that. I think I was going for I was moving my thumb over to the D-pad to do pumping, and I must have just slid it over select somehow.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was looking at my controller. I'm like, how would you even do that? And I was like, I guess if you're moving your hand over, you can just kind of graze it or something. But yeah, everyone's seen the map in Escape. The save and quit menu in rain state is a new one though. That's a good one.
Somehow still managed to get sub 455 or 555 there. So
yeah, for a second I thought we were going to see double 6-minute escapes, but you had a pretty good back half. I can't believe we're talking about Escape right now, but you had a pretty good back half to get the 554. But yeah, really good match. You were on a tear in losers bracket. You got bumped down to losers bracket in the second round, and just been a incredibly difficult out, as I can attest to. So very good job. Hopefully you're happy with how you did. Well, obviously at this point, just anyone who's left, anyone can beat anyone can lose to anyone. Just all top players left. So very well done.
Except for my run against Doomtap, I think that everything in brackets was like a 112, which I certainly can't complain about.
Yeah, I mean that's generally what we're seeing now is at least 112s. 111s are still it's just even players with 111s, 110s. It's hard to run a 111. When you only have one run, you can't reset it all. Just to pull 111 even out of thin air can be quite difficult. So, but yeah, it's going to be getting to the point that even low 112s are probably going to start losing here with some of the players who are left. Just a lot of strong players left. We got Dow and Blaine are left in the winners bracket, and then it's Airy, Doom, Andy, and Louis left in losers. So those are all top players. Only yeah, Dow and Andy are the only players left without 110s.
Yeah, now that the odds-on favorite is out, do you have any like predictions over who's going to take this?
I mentioned it before. I think you got to think Blaine is the favorite at this point, just because he won the matchup with Airy. So if it goes chalk from here on out, right, and it's Blaine versus Airy and the winners, Airy would have to win 2, where Blaine just has to win 1. So I think he's the favorite just from that. But Dow has beat Zelda and Andy just now. Obviously a very, very good runner. Andy and Dow don't have 110s, but they're obviously both capable of it. They could drop one anytime. They can drop one in a tournament match. Even playing Airy or Blaine, like dropping a 110 on either one of them, they're going to have to have a very good run to beat that. So I mean, you can't be surprised anyone winning this. But because of the volatility, just the winner, whoever wins Dow versus Blaine is definitely going to be the favorite at that point. Mm-hmm. And I think at this point, Blaine's probably favored a little bit in that one. But again, Dow has knocked off some really good people, so definitely has a chance in it.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I don't have to be stressed out about participating and get to just sit back and
yeah.
watch fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, I was upset losing last week, especially how it happened, but my stress level definitely came down this week, and I started running hundo of this, which is, you would think would be even dumber, but just like being able to run this game and not care is very nice. So the stress levels have come down. I know, I think we were saying this a little bit in the IRC, that this tournament's probably been a little bit longer than a lot of players probably would have preferred, but at least from an organizer's perspective, one of the big parts of this was getting a lot of new players to run it, a lot of new interest. So we kind of had to make it this big. So because if it was just like, oh, it's just gonna be like the top 8 or something in brackets, or top 16, a lot of like the newer players maybe not interested in joining just because they feel like they don't even have a chance of getting to brackets in that kind of format. So this is the downside of it. I've heard from a lot of people that they're just kind of happy it's over. But hopefully you had a good time, in the tournament.
For sure. I had a blast.
Yeah, hopefully you'll keep playing a little bit. You are my pick for that 110, that top 10 all 110s. Is that bounty is still out there? That $0 bounty is still out there.
Yeah, it'd be cool to make that happen, but I don't know. This run definitely wears on you after a time, especially with Aghanim at the end. And I still want to get my 124 in NMG, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this game wears on you, and I think this run has a little extra of a nut punch in it as well. There's a lot of fun parts of it, but grinding for this long. I mean, I do want to come back because I want to get a little bit better of a PB. I think I got one more at least left in me. But yeah, I need a little bit of a break. So
yeah, it's just so easy for your runs to just die.
Yeah, just in spectacular and amazing ways. So yeah, I mean, NMG's got its own problems too. So, but yeah, it's fun. I'm glad you had fun. I had fun in our match last week. It was a good one until the late disasters. So yeah.
Thank you again for putting it on. I'm glad that we can still get tournaments running in this community. It's a good time.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, it's dragging a little bit here. I think that's not really like a shocking thing to say, but people are still showing up. People are still watching. The races are still. We've had a lot of close. Dow Andy was frame for frame until the hard lock. This one was frame for frame for a lot of it. Our race last week was frame for frame for a large portion of it. So we're getting a lot of really good races. Most of them aren't ending close just because of this category, but like just it going deep close. There's definitely just like what's going to happen type of thing, where just anyone can take it. Leads really aren't safe. So it definitely makes it exciting. It makes it entertaining. So we do have a couple weeks left. It looks like we got it's going to be like 3 weeks left of losers and then one more for, so we have 4 weeks, still 4 weeks to go, which just sounds like a long time. But yeah, and then so Louis is lurking in chat. You are going to be playing Andy if you want to throw any thoughts for that. But well, if Louis decides to type that out, Kaz, if you got any last thoughts, you can go ahead and share them, and then we'll hand it back off to ZSR.
I could say I'm rooting for Louis in that matchup. I'd like to see him take it home.
Yeah, you gotta root for the guy who beat you, and then so
yeah.
Louis is the guy that beat the guy who beat me. So sure, I'll join the Louis train. Although I do have Airy winning it from losers, so if I can call that shot pretty well, that'd be pretty good. Oh, and I do want to apologize to both of you for cursing, commentators cursing you through this entire damn match. That's on me.
It's inevitable. You can't help it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think we'll hand it back off to ZSR. We are going to get, we don't have any more on the schedule yet. This is the last match of this week. The matches next week will be going up on the schedule shortly. I kind of expect they'll just be next weekend, based on what the players have kind of been doing recently. But yeah, we'll throw it back to ZSR to close us out here.
All right then, thank you so much. Great job, Louis and caznode. That was an awesome race. Thank you, Apathy Duck, for the commentary. As for the schedule, there actually isn't that much going on. The next thing on the ZSR schedule is the Zelda 2 Randomizer weekly race on Tuesday, and there's a TMCR, Minish Cap Randomizer tournament match on Friday. So we will keep watching the schedule for any updates. And as Apathy Duck said, the Link to the Past tournament we're doing right now, that still needs to be scheduled some stuff now that we're moving forward these brackets. But until then, oh, and then there's the Wind Waker match 3, but I don't see that on the schedule yet. So yeah, there's a Wind Waker Randomizer Tournament Grand Final match coming up sometime this week as well. So yeah, a lot of good stuff coming up, just need to be scheduled. As for right now, I hope you all enjoyed the match. That was an awesome race. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and have a great night. Bye!